We're back with our pieces of card, and I've just been thinking about exactly how I want to do this. So what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to put one piece of orange to one side, and I'm going to put my sparkly black to one side for the moment. We will be using these. Okay, so I'm going to fold this in half with the coloured side on the inside. Now you could score this first if you wanted to, but I'm just going to line it up and fold like so. Now I'm going to get my black piece, not the sparkly one, just the plain black piece, and again fold that in half, again with the colour on the inside, like so. Okay, so then what we need to do is stick these two pieces together like so. So we'll have one panel of black here and two panels of orange. We'll get our ATG and stick those two together. Right, so I'm just going to put the ATG on this actual black piece here. And the reason I'm using the ATG is because it's a really strong adhesive as well, so we're going to definitely make sure these stay together. And I'm finally getting a little bit better with my ATG. I can say that, now I'm going to completely glue myself up to it. I think it's just a knack of pulling away at the end. At the beginning of having this, I just could not get it. Okay, and I'm going to put one more piece down the centre here as well. Okay. So then take my orange piece, line it into the centre. Oh, there we go. Just make sure that still folds over. Yep. So now it will fold over as a tri-fold card, but obviously it's a little bit boring on the outside. Before we put some more pattern paper on the outside, we're going to start making that shape that we had where it folded over. So what we're going to do next is mark up our dimensions of where we're going to cut across to make that diagonal crossover so that you can start to see the other colours through. And we're going to do that before we put our patterned papers on the outside of this. Okay, so we're going to mark this on the, first of all, so it's the outside flap. So we're doing this front and then we're going to cut across like so. I'm going to open up my card and I'm going to take my craft knife and I'm going to cut down the back spine, and then I'm going to get my ruler and then we're going to line up those two pencil points. I'm going to just cut at a diagonal across. You could alternatively, if you didn't want to use your craft knife, you could just draw a line and cut with your scissors, but I find you get a nice line with that. And then, so we've got our first flap, like so. So then the next one, mark that at I think 3 inches. And then we're actually going to take it right up to this top corner. So I'm going to open this out, just get our craft knife, put the ruler in position to that top corner and to that 3-inch mark, and then just score across. I've been cut. Okay, so now what we've got is that piece folds like that, that piece folds like that, so we've got an off-centre kind of gatefold card. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is cover these two white flaps because that's a bit boring. Okay, outside I'm going to use this black sparkly card that I've got, and so the first thing I do is I'm going to just put some ATG gun along all these edges. Like so. Whoops, make sure you go right up to the edge because you want it really stuck to the edges on this, and then some in the centre. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just put this whole piece of paper, but I'm going to line it up on the side, obviously on the crease, and I'm going to line it up at the bottom here, which you can't see I don't think on the camera because it's not quite enough room because the top of the paper's hitting the camera. So I'm just lining up on the bottom edge and on this side edge and sticking that down. Okay, then we're going to flip it over. And then again, just using our craft knife, I'm just going to cut out this shape. Okay, and then we're just going to go down that diagonal, and we've got the orange there as our guide, so we don't necessarily need our ruler, but if you're more comfortable then use your ruler. There we go. So that's the first piece. Now what I will do is ink that edge, because what I didn't want to do was go over that edge with the black, but what I found is that it didn't bend as well then because there was just so much card. So now I'm going to put another piece of black there. So again, we can still use this piece of card and stick that on there like so. I switched off, was just quickly put that piece of paper on, and I've inked up all the edges in the black. So I think that looks quite effective, especially on the orange. I think that looks quite good. I think what I might do now is just use my corner chomper on this top corner here and this corner here and round those edges off. So I've got my, I'm going to do it on the 1/2 inch, just chomp, chomp, and then I'm going to leave the bottom square. Okay, so when it opens, it'll be like so. Okay, that's why you have to do it when it's closed, so that when it opens, you've got that little curve there, so that it is actually correct when it's shut. Okay. The base of the card. Now you could use this as you saw before, I did this as a Christmas card. So now comes the fun bit, which is the decoration. Now what I did before was most of the decoration was on the inside, so it was a really nice surprise when they opened it up. So next thing we need to do is actually put some ribbon on the back here. So we need to stick that down, and then we're going to cover that up. Okay, and I'm going to cover it up in a white, or actually in the orange card rather, so that they can still write on the back. So that gives them a place to write, but it also hides that piece of ribbon, which is what's going to hold this all together. Okay, I've got this gorgeous sparkly ribbon here. So I'm going to turn my card over. No, I'm not. Measure roughly, so about there. I need enough to make a bow. I'm going to lay that flat. And I think we want the bow to be quite low on this one. Whoops, let's just cut this to length first of all, because it's all getting in the way. I'm going to cut a nice long piece. So, and then I want it quite low down, so I'm just going to do a little knot. Not for any reason other than just to hold it in place while I turn it over. It's not going to be anything special. So that keeps that in position. So we want it probably about there. So I'm going to stick a piece of tape in the centre here. Like so. And I think I'm going to do a couple of extra pieces at the edges as well, just to really be sure to hold that in place. And then I'm going to get my ATG gun, and I'm going to cover all of this back in the orange. Okay, so that's all covered now, and we've got the ribbon around the front, and I've re-inked just around the corners because obviously I had to re-chomp those corners. So I'm just going to undo my ribbon. And now we're going to start decorating this out for the inside. So I've put them like so. I haven't glued them down yet, so I'm just going to, basically all I did was I take my pieces and I just played around with the design. I wanted this main RIP tombstone in the middle, and then I've just fiddled around, and what I thought was quite cute was using the skeleton to hold the trick or treat bag, and it's got some sweets in, etc., and the bat in the air. So I'm going to just stick those down, and then I'm going to come back to you and we'll do the front. All stuck up, and as you can see I've just started positioning the things on the outside. Now what I thought I would do is I'm just going to, these are a border, those border pieces, so I've used some of those. I haven't done the inside flap completely yet, but what I thought I would do is actually stick the ribbon down just here and then pop dot this little pussycat over the top, and then we'll have our bow over this side, so that's going to sort of make a bit of a feature here, like so, and then we might put some sort of sentiment there like Happy Halloween or whatever, or Spooktacular or some sort of, I think I've got different stamps, so we'll stamp onto something and put a little sentiment there. So we've got the little spider there crawling up the little sweetie border. Then we've got our little pumpkin wearing his witch's hat. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these things down and then we'll come back to you. Of course, is I can't have the pussycat that side, so he's got to be this side because I can't stick the ribbon down that side because otherwise they'd never open the card. So I'm just going to swap that theory around and do it that way around, but I mean, it's the same idea. So we'll still put our sentiment up there and we'll put our bow this side. Okay, so try again. Take that. All this down. I've put the little spider over the join of those borders and my little pussycat's over there. All I did on his, I pop dotted the pussycat up, but what I did was I just put a bit of glue runner on his tail, left this loose, and then I just stuck the end of the tail down just to give it a bit of dimension there. And then on the inside, I just put a border all the way around, a couple of the little lollipops, and obviously the little pumpkin with the witch's hat on, so that as it opens, you've got that. And open it up. And I might just stamp my little sentiment down on this bit here actually. These stamps from my pink stamper, that's the Halloween stamp. So the first one I'm going to do is, obviously you've got to have to doom to me may concern. I mean, it's got to have that one. So I'm going to put that one on there. So I'm just going to use my rocker block and some black ink and stamp that. I'm going to stamp it slightly up here so that then I can put another message underneath. Okay, and then I'm going to get my other message, put Happy Boo Day, because then they can use it as a Halloween card or as a birthday card, whatever that person wants to use it for. Okay. Let me just make sure I'm in. There we go. I had to press extra hard because the ribbon's behind. It's not very flat, so that's why I was pressing so hard. Okay, so let me just zoom in for you. There we go. So that's what we've got. And there we are with our finished card. So thanks for the request. I really enjoyed doing this card, and please leave comments and subscribe. I love to hear from you. So thanks again for watching and see you again soon. Bye.